Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. YourFieldersChoice.com daily hit and run show. Pete Cole here. I'm solo today. So welcome, everybody. After a pretty good weekend of baseball, all sports. First of all, anybody that's coming or watching for the first time, this will be on demand all day. Put this live. Check us out, YourFieldersChoice.com. We have a MLB promo going right now, $25 a month. That includes all sports. And pretty much all sports, niche sports, small sports is our specialty at Your Fielder's Choice. Just our Discord is free, but we have premium rooms for the premium members. But if you check our winning lineups room out, we had a really good week this week. I mean, I'm looking right now, we crushed soccer. Every single slate I'm seeing soccer wins. We had a huge week, big weekend of baseball. We got one of our premium guys hit for 20K. I think it was Thursday. Good weekend though. We had a big hit in soccer, I see. Also, Riley, our soccer guy, he's also a horse racing guy. He just hit for 150K in some kind of horse racing deal he's in. But me and him are going to be doing actually some Kentucky Derby stuff coming up. We did a lot of horse racing stuff during COVID at YFC. So I said small sports, especially college sports, college basketball, college football is our thing. We have WNBA coming up. So we starting that. But once again, MLB is our flagship. So we're on YouTube right now. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to keep an eye on the monitor. Just hit them in a private chat. If not, just hit us up today in their premium room, MLB. But we're here. What do we got? A 7-game slate. It's a weird slate because DraftKings is starting at 6:10, and that's going 7 games. And I believe then we got FanDuel. And FanDuel and Yahoo are starting at 7, I believe. But mainly we do the shows, I'm pretty much talking about DK. If I see some decent FanDuel prices, I'll hit them up. Yeah, so FanDuel starts at 7:07. That's a 5-game slate. Weather, I haven't seen much weather, but I did see a report that the only questionable game is Boston. I think the Boston game, Boston-Toronto. I did see there may be some weather issues there. I don't think it's anything that's going to call a game, but that's something to keep an eye on. So right now, DK starting early, 6:10. So make sure you get your lineup locked by them. The good thing about DK now, though, at least if you miss lock, you can still hit your lineups up. You just got to make sure you play guys that haven't started yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is go through pitching. Then I'm probably just going to go position by position. This will be pretty quick today. This is only 7 games. But I tell you what, I like this slate for pitching. I really do. Actually, I didn't give you guys Vegas yet. So Vegas, and I'm sorry if I'm yelling. I got my dogs barking in the background. But Vegas right now, highest team implied total is the Phillies. 5.1 implied runs. They are home against Colorado. They're going up against Kyle Freeland, who I think is a gas can, just signed a big contract. The Rockies don't think so. But they're going up against the lefty Freeland. The Phillies got some big bats in that lineup. We didn't see that last night, but 5.1 runs. After that, the next closest is, wait, I'm wrong. The Dodgers now have the highest implied, 5.3. And they're going over against my man, Merrill Kelly. And I'm a Merrill Kelly truther, Merrill Kelly whisperer. I like Merrill Kelly. And I kind of like Merrill Kelly tonight, too, in GPPs, which we'll get into in a second. But so the Dodgers actually right now are the highest. They opened at 4.6. But now they're 5.3. And the Phillies open at 5. They're 5.1. So the Dodgers obviously jumped up over them. And I have no idea why the Dodgers jumped up so much. Almost a full run. Beside that, there's only 2 other teams above 4.3. You got the Astros at 4.4. They're facing Dane Dunning in Texas. And then you got the Blue Jays, 4.3, 4.3 runs. And they're going up against Nathan Eovaldi of the Red Sox. All right, so the teams we're looking at today are the Phillies, Dodgers, some Astros, I think maybe actually a decent stack, and the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, so now let's get to pitching. So we're pretty much going to talk DK and talk about, the SP1s and SP2s. And I haven't seen too, actually I just saw some ownership pop up, so I'm wrong. Okay, so looking at pitching right now, looking at ownership before I even get into my top picks. And once again, this is ownership is shaky. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast here in Tampa. But I have Max about 44% Max Scherzer. And then I have, it's not even showing me. It should be Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns should be one of the highest. So you got Max and Corbin Burns. And then we're seeing Kyle Gibson about 30%. Jose Barrios about 27%. Barrios is almost a DK misprice of 5.5. Okay, so your DK SP1, we're pretty much looking at either, to me, Max or Corbin Burns. Now, if I'm building lineups today, if I can get Max and Corbin Burns together and do that double barrel shotgun, those two, I'm going to do it, and I'd rather roll out the values. We know how the bats have been going this year. I just saw actually a stat, and I have to think, I think it was Scotty Green sent me this on Sunday, but it makes a lot of sense. Right now, they're hitting, the major league hitting is, and it came from Alex Fast, the tweet, but 56 batters are hitting at or below 500. 56. The league in batting average as a whole is 231. So that's the lowest league batting average in history of Major League Baseball, dating back to 1871. And we've seen it. I mean, anybody's been on our Discord and we talk all night. It's frustrating. You think you got a great stack. You got guys in great spots. And next thing you know, they're 0 for 4. And then you got somebody like a Timmy LaCastro comes up and hits a home run or something. Like Timmy LaCastro, a New York guy. But, a guy that you would expect hits a home run. And then you get like a Stanton or Aaron Judge going 0 for 4. So that's the current state of MLB. And a lot of it is because of the shortened spring training. It looks like the pitchers are ahead of the batters. Pitchers are now getting stretched out more. Just a lot of factors, but we should see even out here probably the next week or two. But keep that in mind. So right now I'm looking to go pitching and try to get almost that guaranteed. You can't even guarantee a 60 points at a Max in Corbin Burns right now, but you should be able to get a guaranteed 50 points out of those two in DK. If I had to make one choice, man, Max is $900 cheaper. He's 3-0. I was coming off a big win over the Giants. He only allowed one run on, I think he only allowed like one hit in that game. Over 7 innings, struck out 10. So right now he's got 2.50 ERA, 0.89 WHIP, 23-7 K to walk. Picking right up where he left off last year. He's matchup proof, just like Corbin Burns. He is going up against an offense that the Cardinals that really lack left-handed power. And if you look at that Cardinals offense right now, all you see is righties. So Max is definitely in elite spot. Probably would be my SP1 if I was forced to. That Cardinal lineup is not scaring me right now against Max. So I'm probably going Max 1. If I can get Corbin Burns in, he's my second play. Now, Corbin Burns isn't available on FanDuel, so I guess Max would be your play on FanDuel. But right now, business as usual for Corbin Burns. He's 1-0, 2.37 ERA, 0.79 ERA, 2.79 WHIP, 10.24 K to 9. Struggled against the Cubs opening day, but ever since then, he's pitched 14 innings, has given up 2 runs, struck out 18, only walked 1 batter. So the Giants are a good offense, but we saw what Max did to him, and Burns, I think, is matchup proof. So it's pretty much a flip of a coin right now. But if I had my ways, I would probably lean this early in the morning, Max, and then Burns. But it could definitely be the other way around. Now, look at some other pitchers. There's definitely love for Walker Buehler out there. I'm not a Walker Buehler guy. His price is low. He's $800 in DK, 94. Well, 94 in FanDuel isn't too low, but he does get a matchup against Arizona. So he's a right-hander. He's not pitching well. He's got a 4.02 ERA, a 147 WHIP. His strikeout rate is only 16%, but a lot of it is probably bad luck. 306 BABIP over his career. I don't know. It's just, but when you get the Diamondbacks striking out 28% of the time, it puts them in a spot. But I don't like messing with Dodger pitchers. They don't go deep. And when you got guys like Burns and Max on the slate, if anything, Walker Buehler is a GPP play to me. And I may not, if I'm making 20 lineups, yeah, so I'd be getting 3 or 4 of them. But I'm not big on Walker Buehler today. Mentioned earlier, Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly right now has been amazing. And he actually started this last year. Okay, I know he's going against the Dodgers, so you got to take him out of cash, I would think. But this guy, I mean, he's not a value on FanDuel. He's 9.8 on FanDuel, so wipe him out of FanDuel. But he's only given up one run in his 3 starts. 286 ERA, 3.33 xFIP, strikeout rate 29%. These are all elite numbers. And the big thing right now with Merrill Kelly is he's keeping the ball on the ground at 52%, 52.5% on the ground with an 18.5 K to walk rate. When you keep the ball on the ground like that, you're not giving up too many runs. And the big thing is, it said nobody hits the ball hard off him. And what we're noticing is he's going definitely more with his changeup and his cutter than he usually has over the other years. So he's a little bit reverse splitsy too, but and he did have a little drop of his velo the last start, but I still like Kelly. It's against the Dodgers, so he can get definitely blown up, making him GPP only. But I do like Merrill Kelly tonight just because he's pitching so well. He's changed his pitching repertoire a little bit, and I think it's a good spot. Good low-owned spot, I should say. And the Dodgers could come out and bomb them. We know that. But, this is GPPs. This is how you win tournaments, taking chances on guys like a Merrill Kelly tonight. All right. Who else do I like tonight? Anybody else? We got Miles Michaelis. I actually like him. He's another sneaky play. He's stretched now. He had 91 pitches his last start. I think it was. He had 85 to 91. He's only allowed 1 run over his last 2 starts. Total of 12 Ks over his last 2. So right now he's rocking a 1.76 ERA, 1.04 WHIP, 13-3 K walk rate on the season, and he's going to be low owned. Miles Michaelis, I think, is a really decent spot today. I mean, we know the Mets can shut down, and they're expensive too. So I like them. I like Michaelis right now, and I mean he's great against righties. So. I mean, you got to deal with Alonso, you got to deal with Marte, but after that, I mean, I like Mark Cannon as a value, but I like Michael staying GPPs. Then dropping down a couple other spots. Kyle Gibson's going to be popular, mainly because he's 6'8" on FanDuel. I mean, DraftKings, he's not on FanDuel. You got a Rockies team, I think they strike out like 30% of the time against righties, 140 batting average. He's cheap, and Gibson is another pitcher that I've used over the years. I've been a big Gibson fan. I've shouted out the rooftops about Kyle Gibson over the years. And he's another one where I just looked into that. He's not throwing that 4-seamer as much as he used to. And it looks like he's relying more on his cutter. I think his sinker, I think he throws. But using that cutter is really working out for him right now. He had a huge strikeout game the first game. The last game wasn't a big strikeout game. But the problem with Kyle Gibson is anytime he's chalk, he seems to implode. So if you see Kyle Gibson very high owned, chalky, I'm not using him in cash. If I see him, low owned, then I would end up using him as a sneaky play. He's showing 30% ownership right now. That means I'll get off him. I'm not using Kyle Gibson in cash. And then it's just too high because you get on that Kyle Gibson train, you never get off it, get run over. So one other pitcher is Jose Berrios. To me, this is a DK misprice at 5.5. He's too good of a pitcher to be 5.5. He's going up against the Red Sox. He just pitched the Red Sox last week. So he went 6 innings, allowed only 1 earned run, pitched a good game. And right now, this Red Sox lineup does not scare me. If you can pitch around the one lefty, Rafael Devers, Vertigo is not going to scare me. So if you can pitch around Devers, I think you're going to find yourself in a good spot. The problem is with Berrios, he's going to be popular at that price, and you can definitely get like a Berrios Burns, Berrios Max. So if I was going to choose between Berrios and Gibson, it would probably be Berrios. All right. Once you get past Devers, the rest of that lineup, you got Jackie Bradley, Travis Shaw, these guys. No. So Berrios in a good spot today. Okay. So kind of sum it up. I think if I can, I'm going to be pitching both Burns and Scherzer together. If I can't, I'm going to either pick Scherzer or Burns. Right now I'm looking at Max, and I'll go down and cash, probably looking at like a like a Barrios. And then GPPs, I like Merrill Kelly. I like Miles McCollum. I will have some Kyle Gibson, some GPP, just as I'm a Kyle Gibson guy. But when I see Kyle Gibson higher owned, I stay away. Nathan Eovaldi, we know, Eovaldi's got stuff, but tough matchup against the Blue Jays. So GPP only. All right, so let's pitch in. Once again, if anybody has any questions, just throw them in that chat room. And I do see, okay, I was on the wrong chat. So let's go around the bases. Let's look at catching right now. Usually catching, especially on a slate like this where you want to, if you want to use a double barrel, the Max and Burns lineup, you got to find somewhere cheap, and usually catchers where you find it. There is 2 decent high price catching spots right now. Of course, you got JT Realmuto, great spot against Kyle Freeland, gets a splits advantage, 203 ISO, 364 WOBA against lefties. Realmuto is, I think, like 1 home run on the year, hitting 290, so in a decent spot. He's been solid. He's going to be probably your top payout. But drop down only like $600 more, and then you got Will Smith. Will Smith against, even though I like Merrill Kelly, if I'm not using Merrill Kelly, I'm going to get Will Smith in some lineups. And mainly because I think Will Smith's got a BVP. Smith is 6'4" lifetime. That's 546 batting average lifetime against Merrill Kelly with a home run. And we know Will Smith's a good reverse split hitter. He hits righties well. 274 ISO, 385 WOBA since last season. So if you're not using Merrill Kelly, you want Will Smith in your lineup. The other guy that's in a good spot is Mitch Garver against Valdez. Garver's got 300 ISO against lefties. He's got the platoon advantage here. Garver right now is hitting 150, and he was a darling. Everybody wants to play Garver right now, but he's in a slump right now. So he's going to break it up eventually. Hit 260 last season with 13 homers. We're expecting more than that this year, but he will eventually break out of it. I do have some respect for Valdez, but Garver's going to catch some. It's going to catch a little bit of ownership. Dropping down, probably your best value is going to be Zach Collins. Zach Collins at 3.2. He's going up against Nathan Eovaldi. Collins just took Eovaldi yard less than a week ago. I think he's got 3 home runs on this season now. 3 home runs in his season. He went 2 for 5 yesterday. A good game. And Zach Collins is really cheap at 3.2, and he gets the arm advantage, lefty versus righty. Nobody else really jumps out at me. Austin Hedges, not normally a hitter, a better defensive catcher. But I did notice Hedges is 3 for 4 BVP. I mean, that's nothing. But I mean, I'm just looking for something here to use a punt, and that's what I found on Austin Hedges. I think he did hit a home run over the weekend. So Hedges I'd look at. Joey Bart's going up against Burns, so of course not. Maybe Omar Navarez, but not rather play Navarez against a righty. That's really it. That's all I'm seeing right now. One name I didn't mention and against pitchers, and I apologize, is Shane Bieber. He just popped up. I'm seeing him against the Angels. Been a lot of talk about the lower velocity, but to me, Bieber's a GVP play. It could definitely go off, but I'm not on Shane Bieber yet this season. All right, so that's catchers. Somebody just asked now about Valdez. I'm glad now people are starting to jump into the chat. Now, man, that's a good question, because I actually looked at Valdez earlier. Let me pull Valdez's numbers up. I looked at Valdez earlier. Valdez, to me, I don't think Valdez is a great pitcher. He's going up against Texas. Texas is a lineup that doesn't really scare you. He is a below average offense. The thing is, he's not like a huge strikeout guy, but he's got enough upside. I think his strikeout's like 21%. He walks a lot of batters, 11%. So, but when you do have that 22% K rate, that does put you on play a little bit. So it's a decent matchup. I mean, just looking at this season. No, actually, no, from last season. Valdez. One thing about Valdez, he's a huge ground ball pitcher. He's got elite 72% ground ball rate. You see that very rarely in Major League Baseball. The ball doesn't go in the air. The ball only goes in here 12%. And this is over this season and last season. So I'm glad you brought. Nice question there. That was from who? Deborah Peterson. thank you for bringing that up because I'm still wouldn't be using him in cash because I like it too. I like Max and I like Burns, and I probably would go on Barrios. And at time, there was a comment here about he was in trouble that game against the Red Sox, but of course, I mean, I would definitely you always stack the Red Sox and GPPs, but I'm just saying because of Barrios' price, he's going to be popular. And I mean, Barrios is more than a 5-6 pitcher. But getting back to Valdez is, I mean, he definitely definitely use him in GPPs. What's his right now? He's got a 4.50 ERA, 14 innings, 12 Ks. So a little 7 K per 9. I don't know. I mean, that last game was I think it was last Wednesday. He fell apart in the 5th inning. I think that's probably in the back of my mind when he lost 6 runs and 8 hits. It just came up now. So against the Angels. So, and that's the problem. I keep him with Valdez because he'll pitch really well, and all of a sudden he implodes. But once again, the Texas lineup doesn't scare you. If there's anybody you want to worry about in that Texas lineup, it's going to be guys like, I mean, Seager's lefty. Don't worry about Seager. It would be a guy like a Garver and Semien, and both those guys are cold. So I'm glad you brought that up. So Valdez isn't playing for GPP. He is, but I'm not using him in cash. Great. I mean, that ground ball is unbelievable, 71%. All right, so we were talking catching. So pretty much the way I'm looking at catchers right now is if I'm going up, I'm going to pay for JT, great spot against Freeland. Will Smith got the BVP against Merrill Kelly, or drop all the way down to Zach Collins, who hit a bomb off Eovaldi. I mean, he's still a kid, but he's got the splits advantage, lefty versus righty. Probably play him, and if anything, maybe a guy like Austin Hedges just get real crazy. Looking at ownership right now, I'm seeing like nobody over 20%. Will Smith. I keep seeing Brian Labastida popping up in a lot of projections, but Labastida got optioned down on Saturday, unless he got brought up and I don't know about it. So you may want to ignore that. And so you got Will Smith and JT are both over 10%. That's all you're seeing for projections and ownership at catcher. Okay, now we go to first base. Going around the horn. Who we got here? Rice Hoskins. Hoskins is probably in the best spot. Because going up against Freeland, he's got crazy, gets on base. Hoskins every night is number 2 in that lineup. He's not going anywhere. He's looking at 320. And these are damn elite. 326 ISO, 426 WOBA against lefties, and Freeland really struggles against righties. 228 ISO, 380 WOBA. So Hoskins, I think, is my favorite play at 5-1. People are going to be on Freddie Freeman. I'm seeing Freddie Freeman right now as catching the most ownership. Hoskins right there with him against Merrill Kelly. So once again, I'm touting Merrill Kelly today, but of course he could definitely implode against these Dodgers. So you got Freddie in a good spot. I mean, especially right now, Freddie's hitting 320 on a season. He's doing really well. Let me see his last 3 of his last 4 games, double-digit DK. After that, he got Alonso in a good spot. Vlad, all these 5K guys above are all in great spots. Vlad's a reverse splits hitter, great spot against Eovaldi. He can definitely take Eovaldi yard, power pitcher against Vlad. And then I'll get Ohtani against Bieber. So GPP play, he won't be popular. Great spot for Ohtani, 267. People are going to be scared off because of Bieber. Now, and then you got Jared Walsh. Walsh is at 5K. I wish Walsh is a little bit cheaper. Walsh is definitely a splits hitter, crushes righties, 256 ISO, 398 WOBA. I mean, Bieber's got his hands full with that Walsh, Ohtani, and Trout, top 3. After that, though, he should be cruising. But I like Walsh, low-owned GPP. Brandon Belt, definitely only GPP, too expensive to go up against Corbin Burns. Anybody else beside that? Here's one. What about the beer kid for Arizona, Seth Beer? He's only $3,300. Seth Beer is having a great start of the season right now. 451 WOBA to righties, 364 batting average to righties. He's like, I think he's the best hitter right now on that Arizona team. He's at 340 on the season, 431 OBP, 405 WOBA. So Seth Beer thinks in a great spot against Walker Buehler at 3-3. Going down a little bit, you got Rowdy Tellez against the lefty. Bobby Dalbec. I mean, he can take Barrios yard on the reverse split, definitely. Yuri Gurriel. Dunning doesn't do much for me. So probably first base, where you're either going to be paying up for one of the big dogs, like the Freemans, Hoskins, Vlads, or maybe Keston Hera, something like that. Like I said, I'd probably go all the way down to Seth Beer. I played Seth Beer 3 or 4 times, and he's always done well for me so far this year. I'm seeing ownership other places where Hoskins is way above Freeman. So yeah, it's really early yet. I shouldn't even be giving a lot of these numbers out. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be Hoskins. It's gonna be probably your favorite. If Travis Shaw does break the lineup today, he's only 2-4 minimum price against Barrios. So if you don't use Barrios in cash, you want to get really cheap. Travis Shaw is only 2-4. So I mean, it feels like I've been playing Travis Shaw for years in DFS, but he's still playing here again tonight. So if he starts, I guess he gets that the righty lefty advantage. He's in play. Like I mentioned, Keston here, he gets the advantage, gets long. That's pretty much it. Well, Miller's back, right? So Miller's been hitting the ball really well. He's 3-5 against Mike Lorenzen. So, all right. Once again, it's going to be Rice Hoskins is going to be your cash play, and then it's whoever team you're going to stack pie for GPPs. Comment, tough to take Angels, Joe Madden's pinch hits. Yes, it is. Definitely. Joe Madden's probably the most frustrating manager, especially for DFS, beside the Rays. The Rays love to do their pinch hitting too. And yeah, I was going to mention at the beginning of the show about Odell hitting a bomb. And I like Jack Mayfield. I think Mayfield's a great talent. Then you take Adele out, and here's a kid that how's the kid going to get his feet wet? A talent, a big prospect when you're pulling him, against in reverse split. So good comment there. Any BBP on first base? Nothing. I don't think so. Max Muncy. That just jumped out 8 for 18, 444. So I'm not a huge BVP, but if I see like over 20 at bats and a decent average, 444 for Muncy, puts him in play. And that's pretty much. Belt was 4 for 8 with a home run against Burns. So I wouldn't be afraid to use him in GPP. You stack those Rangers, and yeah, there you go on the Giants pinch hit. You're going to another Gabe Kepler. Especially, it's decent when a couple of these guys are out, but a Belt should be all right. But do a stack against Burns, very low owned. We know how Jock is hitting right now. That's how you win GPPs. Nobody else is going to be on the Giants. You run a Giant stack somewhere. So Belt is 4 for 8 with a home run. So that's not bad. Vlad is 4 for 13 against Eovaldi. So some good numbers. First base is stacked tonight. So you probably want to stay high. CJ Grown hits 267 against Kyle Gibson. Nothing great. So you probably want to pay up for first base tonight. If not, though, I'd probably drop down to like a Seth Beer or something. Maybe like a Travis Shaw. Okay, let's go to second base. Second base right now, I guess looking at ownership first, Segura is looking like he's claiming the highest ownership right now, over 30%. Of course, the problem is the Phillies are going to be very popular tonight. And once again, this I'm finding out early in the season when these popular teams are going to make, against people think the gas can pitcher and then they don't come through. So just be careful putting all your eggs in one basket with these Phillies. But Segura is going to be the popular play. Going up against Freeland. I don't know. I haven't made a cash line yet though. But once again, Muncy's second base viable on DK. He's 5-1. Honestly, I would probably use Muncy if I'm not using Kelly. $400 more Segura. We got Marcus Semien, who we mentioned against Valdez. If you use anybody against Valdez, it's going to be a righty. Here's one, and I know I was touting Michaelis, but Jeff McNeil, I don't know why he's back down the order now, and he's only 3.7 on DK. I'm almost positive McNeil's price dropped, right? I'm pretty sure it was like in the high 4s. Because that's why the reason I didn't play him over the weekend. Yeah, he was 4.7 on Saturday, 4.4 on Sunday. So now he's 3.7. Still hitting 300 on his season. So, going up against Michaelis, McNeil right now is 4 for 12 over his last 3. So I don't think you got to worry about him sitting. I don't think so. I see McNeil as my little sneaky play. I think he's going to be sneaky at second base. And he once again, he gets the platoon advantage. And he's got a 198 ISO, 368 WOBA against the right arm. Anybody else that right now, numbers-wise, nobody jumps out besides Segura, Muncy, and Semien, and McNeil. Looking at ownership-wise, Aledmys Diaz for the Astros 3-1. He's catching some love, looks like. If he gets the lineup, he'll be at the bottom of the lineup, maybe hitting 7th or 8th. But he's going up against Dane Dunning. Once again, it's Dame Dunning. I'm not gonna call Dane Dunning a gas can, but he's not, he's not the greatest pitcher. He's got decent pedigree coming up. Decent xFIP right now. I'm 412. K rate 22.5. Decent ground ball. And Diaz right now does struggle against righties. So I see ownership on Diaz, but I'd probably stay away because he's got a very low ISO and WOBA against righties. And that's a decent sample size, 233 at bats for Al Diaz. But it looks like he's being popular. I'd stay away. If anything, I'd probably end up going to like a Keston Hira or something like that. Even though I've always been against Hira, but he's hitting well this year. You got Biggio. Biggio's back again. I don't know. If anything, I'm looking at probably Muncy, Max Muncy at second base. Segura's going to be the popular play. If not, Semien. And if there's any punt we're looking at, probably Biggio against Eovaldi, the lefty-righty. Is Biggio ever going to be the talent we all thought he was? I mean, he's hit 040 on the season right now. You like McNeil tonight? Good. So somebody else likes McNeil beside me. How about Christian Walker at first base? He hits righties. I mean, I said Bueller doesn't scare me, but Walker's 3K and Seth Beer's 3.3. Right now, I'd rather go Seth Beer because of splits. Walker, though, Walker's hitting well too. Though he's got 2 of his last 3. He's got a home run 2 of his last 3. So yeah, either way, yeah. So Walker's a good call too. Like it's almost a coin flip, and you're down way down to 3K. So yeah, that would be him or Beer would be your value plays if you're gonna drop all the way down. If you're not gonna go with the big dogs. Okay, that's pretty much. Okay. You just mentioned Espinal for Toronto. Even though he's only hitting 220 a season, you're right, because he had back-to-back home runs, I think, right, over the weekend, if I remember. And then yesterday, I think he got a hitter too. Yeah, I just called him up. He had a hit yesterday, back-to-back home runs on Friday, Saturday against Houston. So there you go. The kid's hot, and you get Espinal for 2.8. See, this is why I like having you guys here on the show. Now you guys get me plays too. So we got Espinal down there at second base too. I know we're jumping around a little bit, so add in your little toolbox. You can add Walker at first base, and we can throw Espinal in there as a cheaper play. Because you're right, I'd rather go Espinal right now than Kevon Biggio, who's batting 040 on the season. Definitely. All right, before you guys throw some more names at me, let's go to third base. Third base right now. Let's look at who's catching the ownership right now at 10:30 in the morning on a Monday morning on the East Coast. We're looking at Devers, and Devers like the one Red Sox I'm looking at would be Devers against Berrios, because the lefty. I'm not even talking like Berrios is sub Cy Young here, but the guy's had a decent career. But Devers could definitely lock in Berrios and lose one. 4-5. That one got by me. Yeah, Rafael Devers at 4-5 is probably gonna be popular. Yeah, you really can't go wrong there. And this is a guy against righties that on that split 312 ISO, 406 WOBA. He may have. Does he have a BBP? For some reason, I'm thinking he's got a BBP too. 4 for 17. No, it's about 235. We do have a BBP. Boy, I'm not sure about Merrill anymore. I got another BBP for the Dodgers. Justin Turner, 7 for 15. But once again, Merrill Kelly's a different pitcher, though. He was a different pitcher the last 2 months last season, different pitcher this season, throwing different types of pitches. But you gotta pay attention. As Justin Turner, 7 for 15, 467 batting average. Wow. So Turner is one of those guys that you look at as like a real better life pitcher in DFS hitter, but still good spot. And that's pretty much it for BBP. So going back to ownership, yes, Devers is the popular play. Aledmys Diaz for Houston is second, third base eligible. You can play him there too. We just mentioned Justin Turner with that BBP against Kelly. He does get the righty versus righty. And I don't think Turner's reverse splits. Is he? Hitter, 355, 335 Wobo, 161 ISO, not too bad. So Turner's in play. But once again, I just had this thing on Merrill Kelly. I'm definitely gonna hedge it and roll some Dodger stacks. But I like Merrill Kelly. GBP though, I'm not telling you to play Merrill Kelly in cash. But I'm gonna hedge it with the Dodger stack with the Turners, the Smiths, the Muncies, because he definitely can implode here. Anybody else we're missing at third base? Interesting. Alex Bregman is hot. Going against Dunning, he can definitely get righties. 212 ISO, 369 WOBA. Who we got for anybody cheap? Arenado would keep him for GPPs against Max. Okay, you guys, give me a. There's a time that said that said I've watched all 3 of his games. And he's looked really, really well, Kelly. And he's really impressed me, especially with the change with his pitch change, with his different types of pitches. He's like a different pitcher. So, you guys can give me another value play here at third because I don't see much jumping out value at third beside Diaz. As I said, I don't think Diaz is in a great spot though. He doesn't hit righties great. We got Alcantara against Bueller, Johan Camargo. He's like my age. I think I played him against him in high school. I know, seriously, he seems. I mean, Camargo's been around forever though. But hey, give him credit. Alec Bohm. Now we all know Alec Bohm is a great hitter, terrible third baseman, but that doesn't matter in DFS. Bohm's playing. He's got really good 52% hard contact against lefties. 332 WOBA, which is mediocre, I guess. But nobody really at third base that I'm seeing like you have to use that jumps out at me. Feels like I'm missing somebody. I don't think so. So it's third base is probably going to be a pay up. It's probably going to be a Devers call. It's almost like he's the one guy that is going to scare him against Barrios. And like somebody mentioned, we know Barrios is going to be popular. So a Boston stack is your perfect pivot for GPPs. But right now, Devers is X slugging, 558, XBA. These are all these advanced numbers. That barrel percentage, 11.1. These are, I don't know, he's in a good spot. Just play Rafael Devers at third. And if you're using Barrios and cash, you can't do that. So especially if he's gonna hit a home run. So if you're using Barrios and cash, then you go to, why didn't I mention Jose Ramirez? So it's Jose Ramirez. I think Devers is the best spot. But if you're using Barrios and cash, then you go to Jose Ramirez going up against Lorenzen. Yeah, I mean you can use Bregman too, I guess. But Ramirez is right now I just wrote up a whole story on Ramirez for a season long that he's right now. I think he's going to be the number 1 pick player in 2023 drafts. But J Ram is unbelievable. Switch hitter, definitely playable. If you had the money, you play him. If you're not using Barrios, if you're not using Barrios, use Devers. If you use Barrios, use J Ram. Somebody just brought up Bruce Shaw. Is that how you say it? And I've watched him a million times in Tampa. I think I'm even saying it wrong. And I've heard his name a million times. And I've always been a Bruce Shaw guy. Is he third base eligible though? Yeah, he is, right? I think so. But he's in play. He's always been a good hitter. Yeah, gets along. He's got that advantage, split advantage. Lefty versus righty. Righty versus lefty, I mean. So there you go, Bruce Shaw. All right, so that's third. I'm beating a dead horse here now. Let's go to shortstop now. Looking at ownership levels, the highest owned right now. We're looking at Trey Turner, 35% against Merrill Kelly. So let me look. I bet you Trey Turner has got a BVP against Kelly, right? No, he does. He's 2 for 6. So nobody's got huge BVPs at shortstop. Bichette, decent, 333 against Eovaldi, 5 for 15. And that's really it for numbers wise. So I could see Trey being expensive. I don't know if you can get to Trey if you're going to pay up like for Devers and you're paying up for a big third baseman. But Trey is going to be your main horse there at third. The one third baseman I'm looking at, I missed the days when he was really cheap, but still cheap enough at Jeremy Pena 4-2. So he's got moved down the order yesterday, right? Because he was batting up top. Dusty moved him down, and he must have been really ticked because he launched that huge home run, that walk off yesterday, to pretty much tell Dusty, guess what? Don't mess with me, keep me up top. So the kids, to me, Pena is a talent. When you see a kid like that with walk-off home runs, third week into the season, you know he's a special kid, and he's special. He's gonna be special. He's a great kid. Now, Houston's going up against Dane Dunning. Dunning had one thing about Dunning, and I just saw that stat just jumped out at me. It's like 12% walk rate. Houston's a very patient team, so definitely I can see going to Pena at short. You can even go to Bregman if you want to at third. If you didn't want to mess with J Ram or Dever, especially if you're using like a Berrios, but Pena's probably might play at 4-2. I mean, if you're a Bichette guy, you want to go Bichette, go ahead. But he's going up against Eovaldi. He's hitting 220 on a season. He still hasn't really woken up yet. DeJong is going against Scherzer. Lindor, decent spot against Michaelis. Lindor's having a great year. I mean, he's hitting 350 the last week until I played him. Was it Saturday? And I think he had one hit, but he's hitting 350 the last week. So Lindor's always in play, but 5-4. So I'm going with probably Pena. I'm probably not going to pay all the way up for Trey Turner, but obviously you can. He's obviously always the top pay up at shortstop. Anybody else? We're looking at shortstop. You guys just mentioned on the chat, Bruchot, yep, shortstop eligible too. So you want Bruchot in your lineup. I'm a big Velasquez guy. I watched him so much in New York, Bronx kid, going up against Bieber at only 2-2 though. Velasquez can handle a bat, so I don't mind a Velasquez if I had to go down for a punt. Him or Mike Bruchot. Any rest of these guys? No. Alan Trejo going up against Kyle Gibson. If I'm going to, what's Trejo? 2.8? Maybe, but I'd rather go like the Velasquez or Bruchot. All right, so shortstop. The pay up's always going to be Trey Turner. I like Jeremy Pena tonight. And you can always go to Bichette. Bichette's really not hitting yet. Okay, let's go to outfield. The big sticks. You want to save some money because we know tonight that the Philly bats are probably going to be high owned, expensive, and popular, right? Wrong. Right now, the ownership is not leaning toward the Philly outfield bats. That's what I assumed. I thought you were going to see guys like, Harper and stuff, but no. I mean, right now, we're going to these Dodger bats. Man, everybody wants to pick on my man, Merrill Kelly. So Betts and Bellinger are going to be your two high-owned plays, looks like. Now, Cody Bellinger, I mean, you got to give the kid credit. I mean, he was hurt all last year. He's finally now, I mean, he's went deep twice yesterday, and that was 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. I mean, he's getting better. So he's in play, definitely. And what's his price? He is 3-2. So he's going to be popular. Betts is going to be popular. This is where I was thinking about leaning toward Philly is like a Nicky Castellanos. I'm a huge Castellanos guy. 301 ISO, 425 WOBA, 330 batting average against lefties. I love Castellanos against Freeland. He's my top outfielder. Jordan, definitely against Dunning. 5-5 though. 293 ISO, 407 WOBA. Jordan's in a great spot. Springer against Eovaldi. Of course, always Trout. All these pay-up guys. So we all know the pay-up guys. We don't have to go through all them. Who's our cheapos that we want to get? Hunter Renfroe's in a good spot. He's only 3,400, 286 ISO against lefties. He's hitting 300 now over the last week, so hitting better. Couple guys I think that may be sneaky. We got, let me see here. We got Michael Brantley, who's actually, remember last year all Brantley could do was get hits. Well, now he's hitting home runs. So I stacked the Astros yesterday, everybody but Brantley. So he's in a good spot. He went 6 for 12 over the weekend. So Brantley's hot right now. You said Bellinger BBP. I didn't look at BBPs yet. So let's look at BBPs already. You got JD Martinez, 7 for 20 against Berrios, 350 batting average. Vertigo, 5 for 8. So stack up these Red Sox, especially in GBPs against a popular Berrios. Bellinger, 5 for 14 against Kelly, 357. So these Dodgers must have some big games last year against Merrill Kelly. And that's pretty much it for BVPs. And Jock is 4 for 9 against Burns. So I think somebody brought up Jock earlier. Jock stacked these Giants as a very low-owned, sneaky stack against Burns. May win some money. Burns that once or twice a year, Burns might get, he could definitely implode. It happens once or twice a year. Maybe it's tonight. A couple other guys looking at Mark Canha for the Mets, I think, is a sneaky call. So he's got 4 multi-hit games this season. He's batting .306, and he's always a good at-bat. So we know the Mets can put runs on the board. So like Mark Canha, like Brantley, who else do we see here? That's got good numbers. That's cheaper. Franmil. How about Franmil? It's only 3.7 on DK. Franmil Reyes, 3.7. He's going up against a righty. And we know Reyes can hit righties on a reverse split, 250 ISO. So Reyes hitting 270 over the last week, 2 home runs over the last week. I think is a great spot for Reyes. I mentioned Bellinger is cheap. Always Varsho. This Varsho kid has turned to a hell of a ball player. You could play Varsho. The Kwan kid, Stephen Kwan. Yelich up to 4.3 now. So I really like the slate tonight, and I really think you can probably go Max and Burns if you start playing guys like Reyes at 3.7. Jock's GBP, but Henfro, Kutch, all these guys. I mentioned Brantley. I mentioned Mark Canha. So a lot of great spots. All right, but the top overall outfielder is probably, to me, is Nicky Castellanos, and I like Jordan. Ownership is showing us everybody likes Betts. Brantley. I didn't even mention Ohtani, but we don't have to. And Kyle Tucker's going to get hot eventually, right? So everybody's in great spots here tonight, but you want to find that one cheap play, and I think it may be Franmil. And probably go like a Franmil, and I guess a Bellinger or something like that. We know how well Bellinger's hitting right now, and then you could probably get those two big pitchers. So, and yeah, that's it. That's Bellinger has 2 homers yesterday. Now he's got 4 in the season, so and he's hot. So it's probably the way to go. And then you could definitely get your 2 big pitchers, because I can't play Kelly in cash. I'm afraid about using Barrios in cash. Now that I saw the Vertigo BBP also. We know when Kyle Gibson is popular, that's when he becomes a gas can. So to me, you want to use the 2 big pitchers. And if not, then probably like a Michaelis, or you have to go on a Barrios. All right, I think that's pretty much it. So to kind of wrap up, I just wrapped up pitching again. I want to use both big pitchers, Burns and Scherzer, if I can. If not, I'm probably going to drop down to a Barrios. He's so cheap, I don't want to. Catching, we got the Will Smith, BVP. Real Muto's a good spot. Then we mentioned Zach Collins. First base is Hoskins. He's your popular play, but first base is loaded. You probably want to take a 5K guy or above. Second base, Segura is going to be popular. I like the Max Muncy BBP, though. I like Jeff McNeil. Somebody in the chat just mentioned Jeff McNeil. Third base is going to be Devers, your top play, or J Ram, unless you want to drop. Who did we mention as a drop down? We mentioned Bruchot a little bit as a drop down. Justin Turner's only 4.2. I guess Turner. Here's a name we didn't mention: Ryan McMahon, lefty versus righty. Kyle Gibson, 201 ISO. Ryan McMahon can be a sneaky play today, lefty-handed batter against Gibson. Shortstop, I said I like Jeremy Pena. Trey Turner's going to be a popular play. Lindor's been hot. And then I like Velasquez, a cheap one. Somebody mentioned we can play Bruchot again at shortstop here. And then mentioned outfielders, the same old suspects. I like Castellanos. We like Trout. The Springers, Ohtani's, Betts. But then the cheapos we want to get are, I like Franmil is probably my favorite cheapo. Let me see. Chas McCormick. I'd rather see Chas McCormick going against a lefty. I like Canha. I like Brantley. Lourdes Gurriel is only 3.2 now. You can throw Lourdes Gurriel in that little pocket there, and Cody Bellinger at 3.2. Kyle Tucker is only 4.1 now. So you can make line out tonight with those 2 big pitchers, I guess. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you. My best stacks. Okay, so we'll get stacks two different ways. So the Phillies are the popular stack. Hoskins, Nicky C, even Harper Schwarber, but definitely you want Hoskins and Nicky C. Who else? I mentioned the Red Sox sneaky stack against the popular Barrios. Barrios can be really popular, so definitely throw a Red Sox stack out there in GVPs. Who else are we looking at? I know there's one other team I know, and I said if you're making 20 lineups, put a Giants stack against Milwaukee. Burns never know, may implode. And then I would probably stack the Angels against Angels gonna be lower owned too, because people may not use Bieber, but they're also not gonna be afraid to go against Bieber. So probably an Angel stack, especially the big dogs there. It's gonna be tough, but probably Angels. So we're looking at Angels, Red Sox, Phillies, and then you only live one stack, Giants, and maybe even throw Texas in there against Framber. Everybody's going to be on Framber with a high ground ball rate. All right. I think that's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow morning. If you guys don't have any other questions, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I guess not. It's already been an hour. So thanks everybody. Thanks for all the comments and chat. That was great. And you got my mind going here a little bit. I'll be doing the top plays right up. Remember, DK locks at 610. And we'll be in premium Discord all day. If not, check us out. $25 a month, all sports, yourphillieschoice.com. Now you want home run calls? Yeah, and you do home run. Framber Reyes, my home run call. It just came right up to tip my tongue. And if not Fran Mill, I'll give you a second one too. Is somebody cheap. You know, I can see going yard if he hits his starting lineup tonight. Travis Shaw, Fran Mill is my home run call. I can see Travis Shaw going yard. Definitely can see Devers going yard, but Fran Mill and a little sneaky Travis Shaw. And I mentioned a bunch of times today is Jordan. Jordan is one of my main guys. One of my favorite players. I think he's in a great spot tonight. Also, a lot of guys like great spots. Nicky C's in a great spot. But let's go Fran Mill Reyes. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to be one more second to ask one more question. If not, then we out of here. All right, good luck, guys, tonight.